abalabi baffe aba Wills Media. Natera, of course, for us, Wills Media, we bring you the best of the best things. Wills Media, Ojo Rugambo Lusingo Bela, Urakabina, we don't stop on just Rugambo, but tugenda ne tuyingireyo munda, ne tulaba ku mbeera eziri mu bantu. Olwaleero ndi ne council one of the best councils I know around in the town, mu kibuga. Council Jama. Jama, that's the name, the common name everyone knows. He's a member, but agenda tugamba amanya ge amatuufu yani nga tetuneeyongera naye nga tetuneeyongerayo nnyo. First subscribe on Wills Media, subscribe so that you can be served as a VIP. Ekyo kyetaaga kusooka sharinga gundi yaffe video yaffe okutuukako, you'll be served as a VIP. Ni ne council wange mema, so kugamba abantu ku status lwaki oteekayo memes asatu olunaku ate nga oli council. We expect you to be putting something that can build the nation. You're someone who likes cheating, simanyi. So kugamba abantu amanya ku Wills Media obeyanjulire, then we move on.
Good afternoon, our dear viewers and people who actually spend their precious time to watch Joe Wills Media. He calls me a member, and he actually introduces me as Chama, but I'm Council Ambrose Tumekwase, and one of the most litigant.
Oluzungu lutandise.
You understand?
Wetugenda wano atamanyi kazungu wesibe bbiri, so akazungu tugenda akawulira nno akawera.
Ono tajja batiisa bannange, tajja batiisa kanga. We're going to mix the languages for all of us to get up.
Yeah, everyone
generally, he calls me a member, but then I'm not a member. Of course, even when you cancel, social life continues. You find joy. You have another life, and actually a full life, not just another life, but
a life more beyond being just a council.
Yeah, going beyond being a council, and of course going to the social life like others. We can't be so serious every time, so literally we have to join the social life with other people and enjoy with others.
Omanyedda nga tulowooza kuba council ne bano ba lawyers and judges, we always thought about people always serious every time alina obeera ng'asoma ekitabo ali mu constitution akola biki ebintu ng'ebyo, every time reading these knowledgeable books, finding every time, but buli kaseera wengendayo after 2 minutes ng'otaddeyo kitegeero.
So what we do as a council, and who is also trying to live a social life and life like other people, we sit and plan for our lives. Tula no planning and no gamba. Buno budde bwakubeera mu bantu. I'm going to spare this time living with other people, maybe this social life. I become a member of this, you know. So specifically, it depends on how we plan for our time, because I have time for members, I have time for the constitution, and of course, for the part of members, I always come as a relaxation. I come to relax from, to chill from there. Of course, maybe from the space of reading the constitution, all those laws, reading the penal code, trying to address your mind to the issues of Okello. Now, after resting from that, all the stress of Okello in court and whatever, we come and chill from members and enjoy the social life to relax.
Yeah, so a lot of things are going on right now in our country. We can't leave you behind and updated. There is this issue of sovereignty bill. It is going on, and few of the people have really understood the sovereignty bill. Kyensobola okugamba nti abantu batono nnyo oyinza omubuuza n'akugamba nti eno bill, sovereignty bill means this, it is meant for this and this. For the viewers who are viewing us, soko tunyonyole, what is the sovereignty bill? Nga tetunagenda ne ku targeting what is sovereignty bill, does it mean if someone says sovereignty bill?
The protection of the sovereignty bill, this is a law that has been tabled before the Parliament of Uganda. It was tabled by the parliamentarian, the legislator David Muhoozi. And this bill, the protection of the sovereignty bill, of course, it is a principle that intends to limit and do influence in the Ugandan politics, in the Ugandan scope, and anyway, the invasion of any foreigners that actually come in Uganda, and of course their influence, the influence of their monies, the influence of their all their activities in Uganda. And of course, not forgetting the political field. Of course, literally, when we are to talk about the sovereignty bill in Uganda, we can't forget the political field where we have seen unnecessary influences.
Parties receiving money from outside.
Exactly, unnecessary influences from these foreign countries,
countries,
of course, coming to gear
countries.
up to finance the politics of Uganda. So literally, that's the sovereignty bill.
So it's the case that this bill is here to limit or put like, what can I call it? Like an embargo. Should I call it an embargo? Is it
Exactly,
the right word?
Yeah,
An
you're right.
embargo on the money that is coming into the country
Yes.
to limit how does it come, what are the people supposed to receive it, maybe what is the process. Kubanga omaaso genda n'otutwala mu process, maybe they should have ndowooza batadde ku gundi process that money should pass through before reaching. So before we move far, who are the people that this sovereignty bill targeting? Abaani abo, kubanga tulinayo bakadama abali ebweyo. Our mummies, our daddies in the village are receiving money from the kadama. As well, organizations in Uganda are receiving money baziveyo bweyo. As you said, political parties as well are receiving money from outside their sponsors and whatsoever. Even for sports, we are receiving money from outside those Western nations. So, who are the target people? Like, whom are those people are being targeted by that sovereignty bill?
So this sovereignty bill, of course, as I already initially told you that it is to protect the sovereignty of Uganda. And of course, Uganda as a country needs the protection of its sovereignty. Indeed, it should be protected. They are doing the right thing. But of course, when we actually try to address our mind to this law, see what it is bringing, see the definitions or maybe the sections that are actually being brought out in this law, and we try to analyze the target people, the people that are actually going to face the ramifications of this law. Literally, we find that every foreigner is going to be affected by this law, and people who actually, even the Ugandans, what is a bit absurd, a Ugandan who is actually working from abroad, who is a Ugandan, he has a national ID of Uganda, a national identity card, mutuuze wa wano naye ng'agenze wabweru okukola. Exactly. Of course, not forgetting about the levels of unemployment in Uganda, so people have to move out for greener pastures when the Ugandan pastures seem to be dry. So the people who are going to be affected, of course, we can talk about the Kadamas. Of course, they are not sidelined. They are not. You can't say that for them they have been.
So meaning in that law, there is no like tewaliyo ka section oba like clause limiting oba egamba nti at least omuntu areceiving sente bweziti oba kadaama obanga munnayuganda ayinza at least obaako engeri gye bamwanguyirizaako kweri etteeka ne litamukwata nnyo.
Etteeka eryo, what the law brings, it defines a foreigner as anyone, any person who is just abroad, who is, whether you're Ugandan, whether you're what. And of course, they come with a restraint on every man that enters the Ugandan country. So it is not about where the money is going. It's not about the amounts. It's not about, because we literally come to address, to analyze and address our minds to the fact that they are talking about people who are going to receive this money, and then the person is going to send the money from whichever country, as long as he's not in Uganda. Whether you're working, of course, this would be to address the ramification, to ratify why we receive money from foreign countries actually supporting the Ugandan politics. But then now we come to take a look on the objectives of this law.
The objectives, why Rachi Kusa.
The objectives of course, as I initially told you, the law is right and supposed to be there, but then the process when even a country like Uganda needs sovereignty to be protected, which people are going to face the
consequences of it in a disguise of protecting.
Yes, and the laws are supposed to be made. Yes, a country like Uganda should make laws, but the laws should be for the people of Uganda. The laws should be meant to protect the people of Uganda, but in the long run, my dear Ugandans, the youth who are unemployed and have ran out of country, of course,
before we have seen laws being implemented Right now, it is still a bill. It is not yet passed law as a bill, but we have seen bills come up as laws. They are passed, but they are pressing people whom we don't even expect to be pressed. Omuntu wa wansi.
To talk about that, of course, umuntu wa wansi woyogeddeko, how is this law going to affect that person? I have my grandmother far back, far there in the village, deep there.
Yeah.
She has maybe the grandchildren, these grandchildren, yeah, my cousins who went abroad to do what? To work. So at the point in time, they always want to send maybe this little money they're working, maybe working for. They want to bagala kumusindika ku sugar. They want to give her some sugar, maybe some bar of soap. But then we see the restaurants on that money because these people are abroad. So how do you receive the money from the foreigners? You'll be the person in question now. Then other people are going to be affected. This bill, some clause actually goes ahead to define or maybe to tackle people who are actually working for these foreign bodies. So a case in point, when you have an uncle, yes, he's your uncle, he's working from abroad, and then he has a business that he cannot actually supervise in Uganda. So he chooses you as maybe the nephew or the niece and whatever to run the business. You're going to be dealing with this business, but all the supervision is from your uncle. He's abroad. Remember the section of the law already defines that now every Ugandan who is outside, who is in diaspora, is a foreigner. So which
Uganda, meaning the minute you step out of Uganda, step out of the borders of Uganda, you are no longer a Ugandan.
Yes,
you are
not a
described
Ugandan.
as a foreigner.
Yes, exactly.
In that bill.
Yes. So now, how do they define you, who is now managing your uncle's business? But your uncle is he's a foreigner now. In the sense of this law, in the sense of this law, he's a foreigner. Yeah.
And she's a foreigner.
Now they are calling you an agent. An agent of a foreigner. And how do they define an agent of a foreigner? Every person is actually in the position of getting any supervision orders over whatever you're supervising. Yes, from abroad. From that person who is in the diaspora. So you're an agent. And what does an agent have to do? You have to provide any information that you know about that person in the diaspora, that foreigner who is your uncle now, about the business you're doing, about what you are doing for him. And of course, you'll be restrained. Even the money you're going to receive from this uncle is the overall owner of the business must be supervised. And actually, you have to register yourself with the minister.
Kati lawayo, there are some people, they have brothers and sisters behind. But we bamu ku bantu aba investing mu mizigo, kuzimba emizigo. I think you understand that. You have been here in the central.
Yes.
Toli atuuka eri nagamba, bro, I will keep sending you my money. You build for me, you buy for me, plot somewhere, oba matuga, oba wa. I build something, oba nkoleyo ekintu ekisobola okungasa nga nkomyewo wano mu ggwanga. Okitegeera. So meaning that person who is here working for that kadama will be an agent, will have to report that business. Oba agenda atandika okugula poloti, atandika wejja emizigo, alina okureportinga to the minister.
He has to report to the minister, and he goes a thorough registration process. A thorough registration process. And the minister is the person. Actually, I think there is a lot of misuse of discretion powers because now they are giving the minister a lot of authority. He's the person actually supposed to determine that you are an agent. Maybe you're dealing with this, you're dealing with that, you are an agent. So now the minister has the right to actually exercise those powers. Yeah, he can deny you being an agent. And of course, when you're not registered as an agent, and you continue monitoring that business, then you're in question. And check about the punishments that actually have come up. They are talking about billions of money.
Billions of money. By the
talking about
punishments. 12. Did I hear of?
They talked about 2 billion. They talked about 20 years imprisonment. They talked about when you're a government official, you pay 10. You pay 1 billion. A lot of money, and then you have to actually face the punishment of being incarcerated for about 10 years.
Because if you talk about the process, meaning mulimu registration process, maybe everyone could be filling the forms, then take them to the office, manyabichi, and that's quite a long process. We've seen here in Uganda, anything that has like process, making a process. Demo ekintu kidogo, bichi And moreover, being that they work in people whom they know that they are receiving money from outside, what do you expect there? Because in that process, meaning it will render a chance to those people to ask for kintu kidogo, give me something,
Of,
process in one.
of course, corruption is not leaving Uganda. It has been there and it is multiplying every day.
Because now nze njogera wano nga njogera from a position over that kadama omuntu wa wansi osegeera fe abaagala okwekkaanya tulabe mweri etteeka how will that treat us in those processes and whatsoever.
Of course, the processes, they are going to be chaotic. Even when they talk about the minister registering you, don't think that is an easy task that you're going to wake up in the morning and then go on the streets and then get to the minister. Not really. It is also a gradual process that will take you time, will cost you a lot of resources.
So like 6 months.
I am telling you. So a local Ugandan is still to be trained. You see, this law, yes, Uganda has to protect its sovereignty, but it should, in that process, it should be surgical, not sweeping. And the other side we didn't talk about, by the way. This law, of course, is going to even bar our religious denominations. Of course, they are receiving assistance from foreign countries because, for example, if I may take a look at the Catholic Church, it
receives money
you see, it is a connection, like
a
thread
chain
from a chain,
a
real chain from Rome, from the Pope to the
to
my grandmother, who is a Catholic, who wakes up in the morning and prays the rosary, and
the community
you see, to the
down
community
there.
churches down in the villages. We didn't talk about the non-government organizations, and most
NGOs,
of
by the way, NGOs, I think there are some over the most part of the people who are going to be even affected, because we have a lot of NGOs in Uganda. These NGOs are private, either private or like funded by the governments from outside or organizations from outside. They have no any connections with Ugandan government. So in that process, we want that like that gradual process of registering the money, knowing what you have to do, whatever. Want it to take time, because some of these organizations, they are working on urgent things that are needed. Let's take an example. Organizations in Karamoja dealing with famine, because someone who needs food to make that transaction, and you are saying wait in a month, people will be dying.
I told you, of course, the government always has a hidden agenda that we, the common people, we may not actually try to know or to understand. And even they don't want the common man to actually understand that hidden agenda. This law is coming in force. It is not yet law, by the way, it is a bill. It's a bill. It's still before Parliament has been presented the first time. And of course, we know that there will be the second reading, the third reading, and then the presidential approval. Yeah. The presidential assent to actually make it a law. It is it is targeting banks. Most of the banks we have in Uganda, most of the banks, they actually get their capital from the diaspora. They get their capital from outside Uganda. We have the churches, we have these NGOs, and of course, when they talk about the NGOs, they are going to suffocate human rights, because we have seen most of the NGOs coming and talking about the human rights,
Of course, when you talk
and the
about
urges of the human rights.
you can't talk about the human rights, sort of.
We have schools that
by
receive
the-
support,
also the
the
schools.
schools that are actually funded
Fully
by
funded by
fully funded by
seed schools.
yeah.
Seed schools.
I saw. I think I saw some school
The Protestant
today.
religion,
It received around 100 computers.
from the foreign
Yeah, from the foreign. So literally, what does that mean? If that money is coming to facilitate the purchase of those computers, it is the money in question now. It has no way. In Uganda, that's what. Of course, protect the sovereignty. It's right. Maybe I think the bill could not be having a
would not be
problem,
bad.
but the process and even the people it is actually targeting. The definition is because we have seen countries like Russia. I think a country like Uganda is focusing on countries like Russia as
That
the
are
model
so big,
countries.
yeah.
But these are
First class
first
countries.
class
We are
countries.
are we third class country?
I actually even doubt whether in the third,
Developing
because
countries.
Uganda is struggling. only that people have not addressed their minds
Yeah.
to going deeper in the villages and see how
And see
people
how people are suffering.
people are
down there.
suffering in poverty, and you know.
Mm.
So for the issue of being in the third class, I think it always sidelines some Ugandans, and these some Ugandans are the largest population
By the way,
because we have a few
who are living in the city,
yeah,
living some good. Even by the way,
exactly.
people who are living in the city, not that everyone is living well. We have those areas of down Katanga, such ghettos. What people are living
The
bad.
slum areas of
Yeah,
Chibuji. You cannot forget
people are
about
living.
them.
People are living in a bad condition. So if you say that you are again doing putting these limitations, I think you will be limiting a lot of people who should be getting help from outside. You talk of the Kalamoja people. Anyway, even in any other region, we have seen that it will be affecting a lot of people, schools, churches, and other people in the society, even you, the most down person, because if you can say that this bill is not going to get you, meaning you are lying, you are a person of hardware. Kadama abadde agenda bweru n'asindika esente bamuzimbire emizigo ekitegeeza nawe obadde okifunamu. You have been a beneficiary of that money coming from outside because they will come to purchase cement. You, someone who is making bricks down in the village, you'll be affected by this bill. That's how bad it is, I think, to my thinking. Because
Yes.
it is a chain, this money comes in and it is moving from up to the most person who is down. So then was ekintu kino kinobeera address as we are getting guidance from someone who understands the law, counsel to Ambrose Mwekwase, guiding us on this. So kati counsel Ambrose njagala nga gwe ng'omuntu, what would be your suggestion on this bill? Because first give us your side. I want you to give the negative side. Give us the positive side of it. Lwaki tugyetaaga ate lwaki tetugyetaaga. Then you will give me your view about this because sigenda kuva wano nga tongambye oba gwe ng'omuntu, do you believe in it? If you were in the parliament today, would you say yes egende mu maaso oba no?
A law that cannot distinguish between spies and then struggling workers. Really, why would I actually prefer that law? Because now, when they talk about the sovereignty, it means that Uganda wants to protect its political independence. It wants to be an independent country in terms of politics and whatever it is actually trying to push away this any other influence that would come in. Yeah. But then in the process of I prefer that side of it, that side of the law. Uganda wanting to be wanting to be independent from these foreign influences that actually come to tamper with their politics. But in the long run, the law is not trying to address that only. Their definitions have become so general, they have become so inclusive that even the common Ugandan, a youth working for an NGO, a Ugandan youth working for an NGO now is an agent. He's now an agent. So the law is actually talking about that person and actually trying to
describing him or her as an agent.
As an agent. And we have so many unemployed youth who would be now agents. Of course, you're going to address your mind to the fact that we have so many youth on the streets who are looking for jobs. But even the youth, our youth, the limited youth, or maybe the few youth who are in the fields trying to work, they are working for these NGOs. And even that youth who is working for the NGO now is going to be told to go under a thorough registration process, and he will be an agent. You know, really, this is treating us as foreigners on our own land and continuing to suffocate the common man. Because that law, I think, if I thought it was to buy, it would buy people who are actually going to receive billions of money from the diaspora, our top officials. And but really, like an NGO that you talked about, people bringing food. You know, we have had disaster-stricken areas, and we see these NGOs.
And by the way, like those disasters are urgent that they need wiring that money from foreign countries or from my foreign organization to Uganda just in 1 week. The process should be as quick as possible.
Because you're going to help a person who is now struggling with life. The person is dying. We see the Red Cross, you know, it is worldwide. connected something. So now it has to receive money from the diaspora to keep running its activities. But then, when even we have had landslides, maybe in Solo, maybe in Bududa, maybe in whichever district, this Red Cross Society to receive the money from the diaspora to actually go help these people who are actually going through, who have been affected by those landslides. They are telling it to first go under a lengthy process.
Which I think to even be taking like
and people will be dying.
And people will be dying.
Of course, people will be dying.
So as we wind up, genga cancel kubanga kati njagala otunnyonnyole because we have to get your side. If you were the person seated in the parliament on a day when this bill was presented, then even on other days when it is being discussed, where could you be lying and what would be your views about it? Kitosobola okwogera kweno bill oba baggyemu clauses zino oba bagattemu zino. Then as we wind up tumaliriza.
To wrap it up, me myself putting myself in that position, of course everything has always gotten an advantage and a disadvantage. So a bill is always an act, a full act. So it always has a lot of provisions, a number of clauses. Today I can't come and trump over all the clauses in that bill, because I said that a country like Uganda, it's right to defend its sovereignty, to protect its sovereignty from any other, from the undue influence that is actually always unnecessary. But then this bill coming and generalizing everything, really I disagree with it. So if I was in position, like you say, in that position, maybe as a parliamentary or a legislator, to put my say or to put my voice on what the law should actually bring in and then take away, I would actually prefer that even before it becomes a law, some of these clauses be withdrawn from this bill. Because this definition should actually be reformed, because you cannot define an agent as some person working for an NGO for survival, because these people working for NGOs are not earning millions of money.
They are not earning millions.
These people in the diaspora are not earning millions of money. Can you let even Ugandans who are in the diaspora remain Ugandans? Because at the end of the day, they have the national identity card, they have the citizen, and
they are going to come back
today. Mr. Moderator, when you're outside country, today if you were in the US, you don't become an American citizen just because you have 2 weeks there or 1 month there, or maybe you're living there for this year. No, you remain with the Ugandan citizenship. You remain with the Ugandan citizenship. So the bill is actually undermining your citizenship when you try to go do business somewhere, when you try to do business in diaspora, when you try to actually see how you can live a better life, when you try to roam for the greener pastures, as I initially told you, when the Ugandan pastors have actually tried to prove that they are dry, completely dry, they hold no water for us
even
to survive.
In the season.
So even the rainy season completely dry. So
ndowooza nga tumaliriza mubadde balabi balungi aba Wills Media, naye nga tetunava wano so kugamba abantu Ndogwa East constituency gy'ozaalibwa, where you come from, plan kyogenda kujja kuba MP storage kubanga we are waiting for you. We have someone who has ideas, real ideas. If you are from Ndogwa East and you are watching this guy is one of the wise people I have known in the recent years. So
the political side, they always say that you shouldn't jump. When you're going to actually jump a river, you have to first get to its banks. Its banks. You don't just fly.
So are you waiting for 2031 or
and Ndora East has been well represented for the last 20 years with a legislator who was among the best participants in the parliament, usually by his I can call him Honorable Wilfred Nwagam. He has DRA represented us in the last 20 years. However, the elections didn't favor him. But of course, I also believe that the 20 years, he should thank God that the people of Ndora East, they were literally enough.
Let them clear a way for you people.
For the new young blood, of course. And now Mr. Honorable Professor Zio won the election. is going to exist for the next 5 years.
5 years.
Well, I have the ideas, but of course I can't. Someone is just beginning. He's just close to beginning his term because he's going to swear just the come May. So let us see what he has to table, what he's going to deliver. Really, if he's ideologically richer, we have to give him the space to serve. And of course, we shall be ready to challenge him when he cannot serve. If he actually proves the 5 years, maybe whatever they are for him to prove that he can deliver. If he cannot deliver, we are there. People are there. Even setting myself aside, people are there, and they are very ready. So raise people about me coming. Let us wait for 2036. Okay. But I will be on ground with my people always, and of course, whenever I have the capacity to be very helpful and deliver my voice to whatever affects the people of Ndora East, I will always be glad to say something for my people.
Okay. Balabi balungi aba Wheels Media, remember to subscribe, follow and share our content.